I tried 3 times today to do this. First time I didn't charge the camera. Second time I thought I charged it, but I think there might be something wrong with it. And I know I'm supposed to have an electrician here, and that's how we got money off after an inspection, but the camera looked like it was charging. I don't know. So here we go again. This house is a lot bigger than where we lived before, but that was a manufactured home. This is a real house with land and a basement. And of course my mom still believes falsely that I'm supposed to be at her beck and call, and I have to train her just like before, but even now it's even worse. Like, you're in the living room in your wheelchair watching the TV, the big beautiful TV on the wall that we got for free. Not because they gave it to us out of the goodness of their hearts, but because, as Joe and I would facetiously, sarcastically say, because they wouldn't have been able to get it. It was in like the wall and whatever, and it wasn't worth taking if they had tried to get all the. I said they could leave behind the mounting, but they just left the entire TV. And probably rather than risk ripping out the wall, which would be a lot more expensive to fix, than leaving us a TV, which, according to what I was told at the closing, is worth like $500. It's a beautiful TV. I got it for free. Deserved it after the hell I went through with these people and their agent, trying to, for lack of a better phrase, better word, dick me around big time. Joe was so fed up he wanted me to walk away. He already put down a hefty deposit, Joe. But I could have walked away at some point because of the inspection and the offer that they didn't want to fix anything, and then their counter offer was to give me an amount of money that I wasn't going to accept because certain things needed to be fixed before we moved in or wouldn't be safe for my mother. Joe was just fed up. Now, my third time's a charm, I don't know. I used the same USB cord and thing you stick in the wall, so the cord part and the other part, and I guess that plug doesn't work very well because the camera looked like it was charging, but it didn't charge for very long before it shut off. So I brought it to a different one, and it took a while to charge, so now it should be okay. My mom has to have her meds and go to bed. Anyway, I was standing in the kitchen. I have to teach her that she cannot be shouting for me. I'm the one doing everything, unpacking our lives. I'm the one who has to do everything in between, taking her to the bathroom 10 or more times a day. Which if you count the night too, it's probably 15 times a day, I don't know. And feeding her 3 times a day, and just, you know what I mean? So she can't be shouting to me just for no reason. She needs to just sit there and watch TV. That's her only job, to leave me alone. Because just like the opposite, packing up our old home while I was grief-stricken and believing I was never going to see my mom. Not that I was never going to see her because I would visit her, but that she wasn't going to survive. This has been living fucking hell, but we've both survived. We've both survived. Barely. Anyway, once I take her to the bathroom, I have like an hour to play with. And in that hour, I have to do things. I have to do everything. I'm unpacking. I also, the first time in nearly 3 months, I got to be on my computer yesterday. Not how I want it set up with my speaker and all that, and I can't, for the life of me, I'm not going to fuck with anything because Joe had to go through hell and hell to get it set up in the living room just temporarily. I'll pay whatever I have to pay to have it in my bedroom. My bedroom's the largest room, but only because my mom needs the bedroom that's closest to the bathroom. If the big bedroom is closest to the bathroom, she'd have the big bedroom. And I've continued to sleep with her just like I've been doing for over 6 weeks in the hotel. Anyhow, never felt more just old and just beaten down and etc., etc., etc. That's why I need to create a new, for new subscribers, a welcome to my channel video that's not going to be very welcoming. Be more like, yeah. If you venture into my world, understand that videos where I was happy, or dancing videos, or whatever, were fueled by insanity. So, take away the insanity. I.e., Laura opens her eyes wide, wide open to what the truth was all along. And you are left not much. See, she can't just watch the TV, I told her phone's nearly dead. She just can't sit there and watch the TV. Of course not. Of course not. She's trying to call me. See, she tried to call me. Unreal. She dropped her phone today too on this hardwood floor, so I told her Joe's been killing himself. You're not gonna, if you break your phone, I won't be able to instantly get you a new phone. You just want to have one. You gotta be real careful. That's fun. You got Comcast, you got HBO Max. I'm watching The Last of Us because I watched the whole first season. And I guess there's a new season of Euphoria too. I watch these shows, but I don't love them. I don't love them. Like me and my mom in the hotel watched a ton of Friends, like our tried and true, because we're bored out of our minds. Big Bang Theory, Friends, Big Bang Theory, Friends. And then discovered Naked and Afraid. And that is some shit. That is some kick-ass shit that those people do. I watched one. The woman not only did this, she had no legs. Naked and Afraid's hard enough when you have legs. She had no legs. She was a victim of being roofied at some point in her life, whatever it was, and the guy left her to die on train tracks, and she survived somehow, I don't know, but anyway, to do Naked and Afraid, that's an inspiration, and not only that, but her partner went home, and she finished Naked and Afraid all by herself. Holy fucking shit. I was mesmerized. And that's something else. They do, and they go through it. They push themselves through, and it's real, and it's brutal. It is brutal. And then if your partner goes home and you gotta finish out the 21 days yourself, oh my God. And I've seen them do it. I've seen women do it. And their male partner had to leave either because he couldn't stand it anymore, or he's taken out because something bad happens to him. You can choose to leave, you're called tapping out, or if they decide, because of course you're being watched, they don't want people dying, there's people, camera, people there, there's whatever, but they're not, there's, you go through this alone and nobody helps you. It's fucking, you can see it's real. It's fucking unreal. It is. So we discovered that in the hotel. Me, nearly 3 months in Massachusetts and here. Never gonna say we're here. It's just gonna do it. This will be the first time ever that I don't say where I'm living when I don't share where I live. I mean, the state, I'm not saying it. I was used to live in California or live in Massachusetts. Anyway, third time's a charm, but I created and I at least recorded it so I could do one of my play it and I'm long talking. I better get to her. Hasn't even been 15 minutes and she's getting all antsy. I shall find out. These are my thoughts of, oh, I'm talking to you guys for the first time in how long? Not 3 months, because I did. Mostly not. Nearly 3 months in hotels, minus a week that I stayed with Joe. But he had saved that much money. Hotels cost a lot more now, because now it's getting warmer. But during their off season, it's not as expensive. And I had to pay for 2 flights plus the trip to the airport. So I saved some money. And more importantly, had a break from hotel living. I got to stay with Joe. Got to use his computer. Got to privacy. I couldn't go on any social media account. I couldn't do it on a hotel computer. It's all out in public. I stayed at different hotels and they're all out in public. So 6 weeks of hell. Not hell living in a hotel per se. I wouldn't have tolerated anything but a full kitchen. You know, I'm not talking a mini fridge, a mic. I'm talking full fridge, real fridge you'd have in your house. Dishwasher, not a stove, but stove top, and microwave and toaster and all that. But I'm talking just trying to buy a house is just, that's stressful anyway. It's just awful. It's awful. And then in the end, being dicked around regarding a house that was hardly my top choice, but we need to get out of the hotel. And this was in a decent, price range, but not for Joe to be staying, and that's probably better. It's probably better. She's not going to stop calling.